Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Accelerating Entrepreneurs in Utah with the Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center. My name is Michelda Castro, and I am the Strategic Communities Partnership Manager at the Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center. For those who know, who may not know about the Nasdaq Center, is a nonprofit that is building a better path for entrepreneurs worldwide by improving access and knowledge for all in entrepreneurship. As you will see in this chat in the moment, the NASDAQ Center provides programs, resources, and exceptional mentorship to entrepreneurs across all races, industries, and geographics. Check out the links and resources in the chat. Couple of housekeeping items before we get started. Firstly, let us know where you are dialing in from in the chat. Secondly, we will open up a live Q&A at the end of the event, so please submit your questions for us and the QA function at the bottom of your screen throughout the presentation. We will try our best to get to them all. None of what we do could be possible at the center without the amazing support of our sponsors, including NASDAQ, Lehigh University, KPMG, Wilson Simoni, Wells Fargo, and the Nasdaq Foundation, Walmart, JP Morgan Chase, BPM, HubSpot for startups, and Google Cloud. We are humbled by their contributions and hope you are grateful too. Before we get started, I'm going to launch a few polls to get back and test the temperature, gauge how you guys are doing today. We use this information to guide the wellness of our programs and provide our global communities for entrepreneurs. So, first one, how are you feeling today? Are you feeling anxious, fearful, surviving, optimistic? Let us know in the poll. Wow, you guys are really lighting it up. We like this energy early in the morning. Okay, so we have great results here. We have about 66 people who are feeling optimistic, which is great. We have 20% that is surviving, and we have 14% that is feeling a bit anxious. Well, we want to assure you guys that we have resources and support here as the NASDAQ Center to be able to help improve those feelings. Now, I want to take the time to introduce my friend and colleague, Tim Cooley, who is the Director of Entrepreneurship with the Governor's Office of Economic Opportunity. Take it away, Tim.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me. I'm super excited for this event and for the Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center for hosting this. I see everyone's from all over the country, which is amazing, but I get to brag about Utah, and I'm feeling optimistic even though it wouldn't let me vote. So please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
I think we're good. Cool. So, Utah really is the entrepreneurial state. A little bit about me is I've been in the Utah entrepreneur ecosystem for a really long time. I'm the best-selling author of the book, the Pitch Deck book, really helping entrepreneurs understand how to present their ideas to investors. I've heard thousands of pitches, and this is my best practices for that. I did capital raise for quite a while for early stage entrepreneurs. I've raised close to $500 million for early stage. I used to run an angel network and I'm very involved with them still. And then I've also launched multiple ventures and had one exit. So I know this ecosystem pretty well, which is what makes my role pretty exciting. And most of my career has been through Utah. And if you aren't familiar with Utah, we get a lot of accolades, friendliest state, best place to start a business, and things like that. Like tons and tons of people way before me have built this ecosystem to what it is. And the governor recognized this and said, how can we leverage what the other entrepreneurs in the state have created and then take that to new heights? And so he made this huge proclamation that we want to increase new businesses in the state of Utah by 50% by 2029. So it's a big, lofty goal. We've got a lot of great ideas to help make that happen. And the first one that came about was the Startup State Initiative. And so there were four areas of focus for us. And the first one of that is to kind of be this champion of Utah as a startup state. I'd love comments. If you've been here and you got to interact with some of the startup community or any of the events that we have, Silicon Slopes, Utah Tech Week, and if you haven't checked those out, please come check them out. The second thing that we've done is we have aggregated all the state's resources that are publicly available from idea all the way through exit. And we've got over 200, and we know there's some that we're missing, but it's a pretty great start to what's out there in Utah to help companies grow. The third thing we focus on is legislatively. So sometimes bills come to pass and they have unintended consequences, and we want to be advocates for small business to make sure that they can continue to grow the business. And the fourth one, which is the most important thing to me and why I'm grateful to be on this panel and this discussion here, is I want to make sure that we are strengthening the entrepreneurial community. It's really expensive to do what we do, and a lot of people who try to build these communities end up not succeeding. And so I want to make sure that good people stick around for the long haul so that entrepreneurship is much more accessible to everybody. And then finally, our website really covers four focus areas. One is funding opportunities. You can learn about grants, different loan programs, a bunch of entrepreneurial tools. I mentioned the business resources. And then we try to aggregate events from around the state. I'll be honest, it's not as good as we'd love it to be, but it's a really complicated thing to get events like this, one that we're doing, and others out there. And so we're trying to do our best there. And then finally, for those who are in the state, we want to help you and encourage you to start. So here is an idea challenge. It goes every month for up to $500 to get your idea out there. And so that's my intro. Again, thanks for having us. I'm excited to hear the rest of the panelists today, and I will pass it back over to Michelda.
Thank you, Tim. Appreciate you sharing those resources. And for the Nasdaq Center, we will be having our resources listed on the website soon. So we're looking forward to that opportunity that you offered to us, Tim. Thank you. Up next, we would like to welcome Natalie Pinkney, Salt Lake County Councilwoman, and also Lori Haslam is with the Utah Governor's Office of Economic Opportunity, as we will highlight entrepreneurial growth and support. Thank you, ladies, for joining us today. How are you?
Great. Thank you for having me. I appreciate being here.
Doing well. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. Natalie, let's start off with you. You just had a champion of a win last year, and you are sitting in this seat. Give us a little background about the seat that you currently hold and that journey.
Yes, so currently I'm on the Salt Lake County Council at Large C. So for those who don't know, we have the federal government, state government, but there's also the county government. And in Salt Lake County, we have 9 members on our council, 6 districts, and then 3 representatives representing the entire county. And I am one of the freshmen who have just gotten elected this January. Like you said, I was on a campaign trail and really tough conditions, but me and my team, we got a victory, and I'm excited to now be on the Salt Lake County Council. Before that, I was on the South Salt Lake City Council for about 5 years.
Wow, amazing. Thrilled to have you here with us as we talk about entrepreneurship. From your seat that you currently hold, I invite you to share 2 things that you're excited about as far as celebrating the growth of women business owners in Utah.
Yes, one of the things I ran on, and I've carried with me at the county is really about financial empowerment. When I was on the South Salt Lake City Council, I actually created a financial empowerment center in partnership with Mountain America Credit Union. We were able to give workshops, and it's in our community center, which is still growing. Now we have partnerships with the Center of Financial Wellness out of Westminster University. I actually just got out of their Intro to Accounting class that we have in the South Salt Lake Community Center. And that's just a really great resource for small businesses and especially for women entrepreneurs. I'm on the county council, so I'm responsible for the budget, but I'm also an aspiring entrepreneur myself. So it's really important to understand the finances and the health of your business. So I want to continue that. The county has a Office of Regional Development, including economic development. And I want to do a lot to expand those programs. The county right now already provides grants with the Utah Microloan Fund. So what are more ways that we can not just give money, but also empower people to understand not just financial literacy, but the foundations, get comfortable with the word debt, right? And understanding the leaders that are out there and the mentors that can help. So I would say the two things overall that I would like to share is that there are a lot of great resources, not just at the county level, but also at your city level. So really get involved. And I think this was mentioned in the conversation before. Make sure you know what's going at the policy level, know what's happening at the Utah legislative session every year, and advocate for your business. A lot of our leaders don't know unless you show up. So make sure you're there, you know what's going on. And then understand the power of community-driven programs. So we can never not have enough programs, and the county, along with other government entities, are always trying to find ways that we can help fill in the gaps in our system.
Awesome. Thank you. Lori, I'm gonna come over to you. We've worked together really trying to provide more resources in rural communities. And as a rural outreach manager at the Governor's Office of Economic Opportunity, tell us a little bit about the work that you do, and share two things that you're excited about and that the governor's office is working on to champion the growth of women's entrepreneurship in Utah.
Yes, there are several programs throughout the state of Utah that involve helping entrepreneurs, especially women business owners. There's been an increase in funding opportunities tailored specifically for women entrepreneurs in Utah. That is a wonderful thing to see. I cover 6 rural counties throughout the state of Utah, and I've seen a big increase in the advocacy and networking platforms that are all intended to help your business grow and take advantage of the different opportunities that are available.
So thank you, Lori. What challenges have you seen in the rural development, specifically when it comes to women entrepreneurs? You said that there was an increase of funding that is coming down the pipeline. What else do you see happening, and what areas of focus do you guys have? Do you guys have industries? Tell us a little bit about that.
A lot of our focus is on creating workforce within the state of Utah. We want to create new job positions. So any businesses that are involved in growth and adding on those employees, there are opportunities for different types of funding. There's some great groups. I feel like one of the biggest things that I have seen happen here in the state is an increase in networks and organizations that are there to support. We have several here. I would highly recommend that everyone joins their local chamber. The chamber is a great lifeline to increasing your presence within the business community. Making sure you get involved with the SBDC, joining that organization can give you resources and mentorship, networking events, and the Women Business Center of Utah. We also have, a strong support of that here in our state. The collaboration with local government and economic development offices is also very important. Make sure that you contact those economic development directors. They can get you in touch with different resources that are available in your area. There's different types of women business owner groups that have really grown and blossomed within rural Utah that just give the education piece. They help to link together women that have the same mindset and collaboration efforts. They're always great to join as well.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we shared with this event specifically was the Milestone Circles program, in which we will be providing information that is geared towards women entrepreneurship, and we are working to be able to get in building those relationships within the state of Utah to make sure that that resource is available as well. It's a 12-week free program that you will be able to add to your toolkit. So we're excited to hear that that support and development is happening. I want to thank both you, Natalie and Loy, for joining us on this call today to be able to share the work that you are doing to be able to support women entrepreneurship in Utah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Without further ado, we are going to go ahead and please join me in giving a warm welcome to our first panel, Capital Readiness, Why and How to Build Support Networks. Joining us now is Leslie Janeway, Director of Global Payments and Liquidity Products Team with Wells Fargo. We have Nicole Kimball, who is a Senior Fraud and Claims Operations Consultant with Wells Fargo. Sylvia Castro, who is President of the Swazo Business Center and recently named CEO of the Year with the Utah Business Magazine. And our moderator and my colleague, Cami Taylor, Director of Milestone Circles at the Center. Take it away, Cami.
Thank you, Michelle. Hello, my name is Cami Taylor, and as Michelle shared, I lead the Milestone Circles program at the Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center. And I'm excited for this panel all about capital readiness, why and how to build support networks. The Nasdaq Center, in partnership with leading CDFI, Washington Area Community Investment Fund, and with the generous support of the Wells Fargo Foundation, is conducting cutting-edge research on capital readiness factors for successful CDFI loans. One unexpected key finding in our research is that technical assistance and support networks significantly increase the likelihood of a CDFI loan application being approved. This demonstrates how technical assistance not only enhances access to capital, but also equips founders with stronger skills, deeper knowledge, and expanded networks. And so all together, strengthening business ties to the community, customers, and future growth opportunities. Each of our three guests will bring a unique perspective and we'll share one key insight on what it takes to successfully leverage these resources for growth. And then we'll close with their best advice on strategies for entrepreneurs seeking outside capital. So Leslie, let's start with you. In your role at Wells Fargo, you analyze vast amounts of information and develop products and solutions to meet customer demand. How do networks and mentorship help you introduce new ideas within large enterprises and gain buy-in?
Sure. Well, I'll say using data and networks are just a critical a part of my role. So when I'm looking to get funding for a new idea, I have to bring data to the situation. I have to talk about what revenue this product is going to solve for, or I have to, have good data showing some complaints that I will eliminate. So nothing I do really can be supported without data. And then I use my network to build that ground support for my ideas. So I'm competing across the enterprise for funding for my ideas. And so I have formal networks, right? I work with my manager, I work with my team, but then I do what I like to call like a drip campaign. And so as others that I know in the organization or people that I come in contact with, I like to put 15 minutes on calendars, set up connection meetings, and really talk about what they're doing, right? It's really easy to get people to talk and share what they're working on. And in those conversations, you can find those common ground, those common ideas, and working together, you can start to build that ground support for your ideas. One, you never know. Sometimes you don't know who that decision maker is going to be. Sometimes you do. But building that broad network and sharing what you're working on is the best way to really build that ground support for your ideas.
So thank you for sharing. And Nicole, over to you, which kind of dovetails into you and your work. You're a longtime mentor and deeply embedded in the Salt Lake City business community. So, what is it that you have seen that works best for entrepreneurs seeking outside capital and business growth? And how does a strong mentor contribute to success?
Yeah, thank you. And so I'm trying to come off camera, but it's telling me the host won't let me, just so you guys know. So, but I am here. I am a person. Oh, there we go. Okay. I see it. Okay. Thank you guys. One moment. Hate to be the one delaying us today.
You are all good. We see you.
Okay, do you see it? My video seems to be frozen. Oh, there we go. Okay, I see myself. Thank you. So yes, what I have found to be the most important thing, as Leslie really kind of started in on that, it is networking, right? It's your connections, and it may feel silly at first, but even if you don't know exactly what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, right? You can go to events, you can go and show up at the places of those doing the things you want to be doing. You can start networking on social media, you can start joining pages, you can, of course, do programs, but just getting started and going to and seeing what others are doing. And then, of course, you've got to be really passionate about what you want to do. And you would be surprised how much you win others over, not just by your ideas, not just by your business model, but your passion is going to drive you. And then having somebody, when you find out exactly where you're looking to go, and having somebody to help you, right? It doesn't have to be a mentor or a competing, someone that's already doing the business, but somebody that knows what you're seeking, somebody that has your best interest at heart and is willing to tell you, the good, the bad, the ugly, give you the hard advice, right? That's sometimes we look for someone to encourage us, and that's our friends. But a strong mentor can help you just elevate to that next level. Even you could be at the next level, right? It doesn't matter what level you're on. Always having somebody to look up to, in a sense, or work with, it will get you really, really, really far. So thank you.
Thank you. I love that. Someone to help us elevate. And so, Sylvia, I'm looking at you now. You lead a top technical assistance organization. So what do founders find most valuable when expanding their networks?
So there's a couple of things, because when you talk about networks, people always go to mentorship, and mentors are great. Mentors, to be able to talk to somebody that you want, somebody that has been there, that will tell you your blind spots, because sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So that type of mentorship is great. It's somebody that understands the industry, or maybe understands where you are in that place of business. Maybe you're trying to grow to get to your first million. So talk to somebody that already did that. But I think the other thing, especially in technical assistance, when we talk about training, when we talk about education, a lot of people don't understand that one of the biggest benefits, besides the amazing education you're getting, is the person sitting next to you, the person that's doing this alongside with you. Being a successful entrepreneur, being a small business owner can sometimes feel lonely. There's a lot of challenges. I always halfway joke that you don't know you're a true entrepreneur until you wake up one day and be like, how do I do payroll? Like, how am I paying? Because it's not just, it starts with you, but then it starts with the people you gotta take care of. And having that peer mentorship, sometimes it's awesome to just have somebody to be like, you're going through the same thing, and you'll be surprised how a small business ownership, there's so many similarities across industries. There's so many similarities in terms of some of the exact same issues, some of the exact same headaches, and also some of the exact same joys. It's great to be able to go to somebody to be like, hey, can I just get a third-party perspective? And also, when you have a win, Nothing like I can tell you when one of our clients have a win, you can literally picture this whole building jumping up and down. There might be a little dancing involved, but we're here because we are so joyful to see somebody. Entrepreneurship is one of the hardest, most fulfilling things you'll ever do. And I see it's amazing to see like some of our clients day to day when they get into be like the best of state of something. And I remember 3 years before when there were this timid person walking in, and as they learn more, as they also see the growth as a community, it's almost like a community. It's helpful. When it comes to loans, also, I think it's really helpful to talk to somebody about sometimes you're like, well, I need a loan and I just know how to do consumer loans. I know how to get a credit card, how to do this. But business loans are different. So having that peer network, that networking for somebody I had somebody actually is an incredibly successful business owner who's been around for at least 7 years. And all she knew she needed a SBA loan, and there's different kinds. And just sitting down with her and be like, actually, you need this, you need a 504. So let me tell you who is a specialist in the 504. Instead of just almost, I hate to say waste time, but sometimes when you're like, yeah, I just really need this. Can somebody just tell me, somebody that's been there, somebody that has been in the circle, can somebody just tell me what is the most effective way to get there? That it's just, it has its value and goal.
Oh, that was wonderful. Thank you so much, Sylvia. Now, to wrap things up, let's talk about strategies for founders. This final question is for all of our guests. And Leslie, I'm going to start back with you. Recognizing the importance of learning, mentorship, and leadership development, what advice do you have for entrepreneurs seeking outside capital? In other words, what are the most effective leadership and network growth strategies you've seen founders use to successfully raise capital?
I think it's building a strong plan, right? Make a plan for what you want to do. I think when we heard others talk about having passion for your ideas, and then data, really good data, right? Passion will only get you so far. You need some facts. Any good loan officer is going to want to see the facts.
Thank you. Nicole.
Yeah, so getting yourself out there, getting your product out there, getting your business out there. You've got to saturate the market. Once you've done what Leslie says, right? Once you have it there, you've got to get yourself out there and you've got to get the exposure. And that's how you're going to get those, if you think your product's wonderful, let's talk about a product versus a business idea. You think your product's wonderful, you get it out there, you get the exposure, people start talking. They start spreading it, you start getting that growth. And nothing can carry you better than good customers, good consumers who love what you have to offer.
Thank you. And Sylvia.
Well, I think a big part is understanding there's more than one way to get there. Yes, there are business loans, but there's also crowdfunding, or maybe venture capital might be the route to go. I think it's helpful to tap into a network, talk to different people to understand what are the pros and cons of each one. It doesn't have to be, there's just so many options nowadays. And to be able to talk to somebody and also there's so many amazing women groups regionally. It's helpful to also get sometimes the perspective of women across the state that may not compete with you directly, so they'll be a little bit more open to talk to you. So nowadays, people are so much more reachable than they used to be, and networks and mentors don't actually have to be in the same zip code as you. So also think beyond sometimes our own little city bubble or state bubble. There's other options that can also be helpful to you.
Awesome. Thank you. Leslie, Nicole, Sylvia, thank you so much for sharing these valuable, actionable insights with our community. As we've heard, mentorship and strong networks are critical to entrepreneurial success. To build on that, I'd like to introduce Brooke Polizzi, our Director of Marketing and Communications at the Center, who will talk with you about Mentor Makers, a thriving community where entrepreneurs and mentors connect to drive growth, innovation, and success. Over to you, Brooke.
Hi, everyone. I am so thrilled to be here with you all today. Excuse me. I wanted to introduce you to Mentor Makers, which is we could lovingly call it a mentor matching platform, but really what it is a place where entrepreneurs can identify immediate needs that they'd love to address and can search through a database of mentors who are subject matter experts who have raised their hand and said, I would love to be available to help entrepreneurs work through this problem. These are 30-minute to 1 hour sessions that you can initiate. So the mentorship lies in the hands of the entrepreneur. And because of that, the entrepreneurs are able to seek out the people that can really focus in on those very specific obstacles that they're facing in the minute that they're facing them. Just as a side note, when you are doing it, I highly recommend sending a quick note to the mentor prior to scheduling the session, just so that they know that you are reaching out to them and will be scheduling something. It usually makes scheduling a little bit easier. You're able to find the application to become a mentor or a mentee on the platform on our website. I believe that Anna has dropped it into the chat for everyone. When you are on the Mentor Makers platform, I recommend going in with a specific need and looking through our filter system and searching for, let's say, a superpower or a specific industry or a location if that's important. These are all virtual appointments that you make and can be held online. You can either use your own platform for video meetings, or you can use the one that is included from uh, our partner in the platform, which is the company called Mentor Cloud. I do want to make a note that when you do apply to become a mentor on Mentor Makers, a mentee on Mentor Makers, that you will receive email from Mentor Cloud, not from the Nasdaq Center or Mentor Makers. So keep an eye out for that. If it ends up in your spam, just do a quick look. You'll receive that email within 1 week, notifying you to complete your profile. Once your profile is completed, then you will be able to access all of the services on the site. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. I am available to help you through that process. And all of these resources are free. There are a number of video resources and other documents on the site that will guide you for how to be a successful mentee or mentor. Both are available, and we find that these types of resources are really useful when you are first starting out in the mentoring relationship. I do want to stress that there is the possibility for long-term mentorship, but I highly recommend having some one-off sessions with a mentor before you initiate having a long-term relationship. It does make the long-term relationship stick a little bit better, and you can really seek out people you know are the right fit for you on those resources. I am looking at the questions. Please feel free to drop any questions in the Q&A if you have them about Mentor Makers. But please feel free to join us on there. I'm a mentor on the platform. I cover a variety of opportunities. Oh, I do want to mention that there are these things on there called fireside chats, where experts in their field come on and talk about subjects in which they are interested or have expertise. These are group meetings that are often interactive, and consider these sort of small group sessions. Uh, I personally, every 2 weeks or so, will get on there and do a pitch practice, which allows entrepreneurs to test out the material. It's a very exciting opportunity, and we have hundreds and hundreds of mentors on the platform who are out there, have raised their hand and said they'd love to help entrepreneurs get through their next obstacle. Yeah. There you go.
Thank you, Brooke.
No
Appreciate you
problem.
sharing that that amazing opportunity and resource to both mentors and mentees. I know that there are some on this call with a lot of resource centers here in Utah that would greatly benefit the entrepreneur community at large by being a mentor. I know Utah has a lot to offer in that regard. Well, welcome back, everybody. That was our little intermission, a plug of that resource available through the center. We are so glad that you could join us today, and we're getting ready for our next amazing panel to discuss company growth and talent acquisition. Now, acceleration, sorry. Without any further delay, please help me join these amazing leaders, Carolina Riveras, who is the senior recruiter at Wells Fargo, Morgan Williams Brown, founder of Blended Studios, and moderator Cami Taylor, director of Milestone Circles at the center for this next panel. Take it away, Cami.
Thank you, Michelda. Our next conversation focuses on one of the most critical aspects of scaling any business, and that is talent. Building and retaining a skilled, resilient workforce can be complex, especially as AI continues to transform the landscape of recruitment, hiring, and employee development. Today, we are fortunate to have two distinct perspectives. Carolina, a senior recruiter at Wells Fargo, who brings deep insights into current hiring trends and talent strategies, and Morgan, a founder who understands firsthand the practical realities of growing a team. And together, we will dive into the latest trends and explore effective strategies to building a strong talent pipeline and discuss how AI is reshaping the future of talent. So let's begin. Carolina, I will start with you. We're going to start with discussion on strategies and hiring. What shifts are you seeing in the talent acquisition of companies scaling to 1 million and beyond? And what skills are in high demand?
Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. I accepted the video, but I don't see it. Can you see me?
I can see you.
Okay, good. All right. Well, thank you again. So I will say then when business are scaling, it's a very complex process, right? Because you're used to have it one way and now you're moving into a bigger scenario. So when scaling recruiting, everyone, when recruiting happens, everybody thinks that you need to rush and move fast and quick hiring, right? But that doesn't mean sacrificing quality. So you can do this by focusing on process, leveraging automation, prioritizing candidates' experience, which in my case, I feel that that's kind of one of the most important ones. And so this way, talent acquisition leaders and business owners can meet growing business demands without cutting any corners. So I will say that now companies are shifting to skill-based hiring, finding hidden talent at scale. I will say that by some, doing some research, they said that by 2030, demand for skilled professionals will far outstrip supply, with a financial impact or a bit over 8 trillion in unrealized revenue, because companies who address this potential challenge head on by evaluating how and where they find talent, and position themselves as leaders in driving growth and staying ahead of the curve. A skill-based hiring approach focuses on a candidate practical skill set that can often provide so much more value to the business rather than their education achievements or previous work history, which used to be the case, right? We will go on what they have done and then project what they can do based on what they have experience on. And that doesn't mean that education is not important anymore, but the way they're seeing is leading edge, with companies that are now moving into the skill-based hiring scale. Their hiring practices are industry agnostic, I will say, and following their example it can give any organization a critical competitive advantage in coming the upcoming talent war, we call it.
Oh, fascinating. Thank you for sharing. Morgan, over to you as a founder. How do you think about talent acquisition in an AI driven world? And how has AI changed the way companies identify or hire or develop talent?
Well, first I'll say as a founder, especially as an early stage founder, you're always looking for what is the problem and then what is the opportunity for innovation. And so that's where I sit. And for me, given the emergence of AI is the best ultimate assistant to prioritize, to customize, and personalize a recruitment process or hiring process. As Carolina mentioned, the candidate experience is so important. But when you're in the seat of an early founder, there's so much to do. You're the CFO, CEO, CPO, you're just all the things at once. And you know you need to bring great people onto your team in order to really make for a meaningful experience. And so beyond just our internal hiring at Blended, I think about the partners that we serve. We play in the trucking industry specifically, and many of the companies that we're working with, they're scaling from very small mom and pop fleets to mature fleets. And when we think about hiring, it's a high volume game. But when you're doing that work, how do you make it really meaningful for folks? And so I think about I use a lot of what we're building at Blended to bring back to what we're trying to do internally as well. But AI has opened up a world for instant matching and prioritization. AI has the ability to take hundreds of candidates, and instead of scanning every single application and profile for 20 minutes, you can instantly connect and find the candidates that meet that baseline understanding. And then the other interesting thing, especially in the world of trucking, we're hiring across 4 different generations of people. And so when we think about and talk about making hiring experiences meaningful for people, that looks very different for across generations and across people. And so AI is allowing us to really customize communication, making sure that our company values are a part of a hiring process, and also enabling us to look at candidates beyond just baseline technical capacities, but really dig into and understand a candidate beyond just traditional credentials. And then personalization. Often when we think about personalization, it's we put your name in the first line of the text message. AI is allowing us to really go further than that, and really making sure that beyond just hiring, but when we think about retention, making sure that we're clear on a candidate's motivations, what their career path, what career opportunities that they're looking for, and being able to tailor that learning and those experiences to a candidate. And so it's a really exciting time, I think, for early stage startups as well as established companies that are looking to grow as we think about AI.
Ah, that was great. Thank you so much. Now let's dive a little bit deeper into building a talent pipeline. Carolina, I'm going to start back with you, and then Morgan would love to hear your thoughts as well. So, Carolina, for early stage founders, what are some of the most effective ways to attract and retain top talent that you have seen while managing limited resources?
I will start by saying what my peer said initially, networking. I think that is kind of, I'm an old-fashioned recruiter. I've been recruiting for the last 20 years. So I think that still always will be one of the ways to do, proof of that is this event today. We're connecting with other professionals, and that's how you get to know everybody. And then it's always the human connection, right? Either we do it through AI, just like Morgan just mentioned, or we do it through um, uh, social media or in person. Um, I will say the few of the challenges we're having now to reach out to this talent is I totally agree. I was reading a report that it says that 87% of the companies are using AI now. But at the same time, I know that we have to be careful because when we leave everything to AI, it can get a little biased, right? Because they don't see the human aspect of our candidates, and so we have to still be careful. We still have to take advantage of AI, but we still have to keep the human aspect involved, right? Because there are some things that computers can do for us. And then I would say also that there are different challenges with the candidates that we have to go through. Some candidates, what we call ghosting, right? Some happening right after we do the interview. Some happen after for different reasons, and some of them it may be that we are. No, giving them a good candidate experience. So that's usually the most case that happens, or they just find another job. Um, and then there is also a lot of skill shortage, right? Depending on the skill set that we're looking for. And then also another big piece now that the owners have to know is that after COVID, a lot of the people is looking for remote positions, and 90% of the companies want people back to the office because they have discovered that a lot of the people um, stay with the company longer because they feel belonging, because they have interaction with other human beings, not just through the computer. And so, making that flexibility on, like, for example, Wells Fargo has a week on office, a week off office, depending on the line of business. My line of business is 2 days remote, 3 days in office. And then so we have different options, to say it that way, for candidates to be engaged and to be, we think this is an advantage for us now, right? When companies all coming back 100%, especially financial institutions. And so I think being flexible and having those different opportunities for people. Sometimes people is looking mainly for money, some for benefits, some for now flexibility to be remote versus not remote. So I think looking at all of those options and aspects will help you attract and retain top talent.
Yeah, thank you for that. Morgan, anything that you would like to add?
I would. And so for the startup community, we don't get the luxury of being able to play with benefits and salary negotiations. And one day I will be there. And so I think it's really important as we think about early stage founders, the way to attract and retain talent, it's one thing I always tell my team is, or I hear from my team is, we want a unique position on a winning team. And I think that's where the humanness of hiring really comes into play. I don't think that we talk enough about brand reputation when it comes to a company. And I saw in the chat quite a few people saying, yeah, the human element can't be replaced. And that's true to a certain extent. And brand is something that we as humans have to feel and connect with and build for ourselves. And so I do think about our story as Blended. I'm out there to tell our story, share what we're doing. I rarely sell people on the job, but more so the broader idea of what we're looking to accomplish. And I think some of that early stage work could even come back into more mature companies as well, to say, hey, we know you want to be a part of the winning team, and we're hiring you not to be redundant, but we see you having a unique skill set and offering to bring to this team. To really help elevate us. And then when we think about retention in the startup space, it's all about ownership. And so it's one thing to be a founder and CEO, but as I'm bringing people into my orbit, into Blended's orbit, I also want them to operate with a sense of ownership. And I think really helping them to understand clear goals and milestones, celebrating that, giving space for people to grow and learn has been so essential as I thought about retention on our team as well. And so I just hope this understanding that one day I would love to compete on salary and benefits, but there is something to just understanding and bringing people into we're a winning team and you're uniquely positioned to help us keep winning. Could be a real message that AI cannot help with or support, but we as humans really can. So yeah.
Thank you, Morgan. Carolina, Morgan just brought up branding, brand reputation. So, how important is employer branding in today's hiring landscape? And what practical steps can founders take to establishing a compelling employer brand?
I totally agree with what Morgan just said. When I am out there in the community, I love to participate in a lot of events. Um, I see people see me as Wells Fargo. I've been with the company 22 years, right? So some people say, "Oh, the Wells Fargo lady," and so I think that, and I hope, right, that I'm doing a good job at branding, representing the company that I work for. But also myself when I am talking to my candidates, either in person, via email, text, whatever the resources, I really present myself and the company. So the candidates understand our culture, our values, what the company stands for, but also myself. Um, and Morgan said something, that that gave me an aha moment. It's so different when I am recruiting for 250,000 employees than when you're having a startup company, right? And you're scaling. But I think at the end of the day, branding is what really is going to make you successful in attracting the right candidates for the right roles, because they have to see that you are honest, ethical. Everything that we look on our new employer or who we're going to be providing our services to, it's so that you gain that trust, that you present your company and yourself the right way. There are, different ways to hire employees on full time, so part time, depending on what the needs are. But providing all the information, being honest from the beginning, being, if as Morgan said, sometimes the startups don't even have as many benefits to offer, but know what you don't have, but what you have to offer to them as a company. Startup has, I've been company for a corporate for so long, that sometimes I always think about, and that's what I admire this organization, because it gives everybody hope. For you to start your business, and then you provide the resources for people to be successful, with their businesses that they're starting it. So I think branding has really it's really the main thing to have, right? That's how you present yourself to others, and that's how they see you. So it definitely will be something that everybody has to work on. I don't know if I can add anything else.
That was great.
Okay.
Carolina, I'm going to ask you one more question.
Okay.
Pertaining to upscaling mentorship and leadership development, and then we're going to wrap up. We'd love to hear from both of you on just some final advice to founders. But Carolina, what are some of the most impactful leadership and upskilling strategies that you have seen, perhaps for CEOs and leaders of organizations, and maybe even fostering employee growth and long-term retention?
So, I've been hiring for different line of businesses with Wells Fargo. So it depends on what is that we're focusing on, right? I will say the most in demand skills now for most positions are, it's a mix in between soft and hard skills, right? So I will say some of the most that I've seen from our CEO to our tellers or our call center employees, it's have analytical skills, management, and digital literacy. That's a hard word for me to say. Just because I think that with this new age, including AI and all of this, no matter what position you're in, you have to have these three skills, right? And then there is a long list of skill set that I can go through, but I will probably share some of the top 5 besides the 3 ones I already shared is problem solving, self-management, working with people, and cloud computing. I think that's what some of the most, of course, including artificial intelligence there, are some of the skills that we all must have, right, for any role that we will be supporting.
Oh, thank you for those key insights. Okay, wrapping us up. For founders scaling their team, what's one key piece of advice you'd give to help them build a high-performing and resilient workforce? Morgan, over to you.
Yes. So one thing I have come to learn and will share with other founders is if you're doing it alone, your idea is not big enough. And so when you think of the big idea, you need the talent, you need the people to really invest in you, to invest in your idea, to really help push and move it forward. I know we like to joke on the founder side, like you're the everything for your company, which is a beautiful thing to start. But in order to make a big idea possible, you do need other people to help move that forward. And you do need the network of expertise and talent. And so don't sit too long on your own trying to figure it out. Go get that expertise, go find those people, build your team so that you could have make your big idea possible.
As if you're doing it alone, your idea isn't big enough. Someone else said it in the chat as well as I was writing it down. Thank you. Carolina.
I think I lost
Can you hear?
the sound.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Carolina.
Okay. I got back. Can you repeat the question again, please?
Oh, absolutely.
So sorry.
No. For founders scaling their teams, what's the one piece of advice you'd give them to help build high-performing workforce?
I will say that one of the main things is it's being a leader, right? Leading by example. I think when we see, in case I just thought of Sylvia, she's been successful at what she does, being named CEO of the year. That talks about the quality of work she does, that she doesn't know me. I know of her because I know of Pete Swass and all the great work they do. I think it has to do on how you lead your teams and how the values and the core of your company, how is that you present yourself and how do you lead others, not only with your words but with your by example, right? The impact that you do on their lives, and then using not only your skills on the business side but on your personal side, and making sure that everybody it's in setting up the expectations, I will say, making sure that everybody knows the goals and responsibilities and moving as a team towards the same goal.
That alignment of goals and values with your team. Thank you. Well, Carolina, Morgan, thank you so very much for being with us today, sharing with our community these real world insights and practical guidance to supporting founders in building a successful team. At this time, I'm going to pass it back to Michelda.
What an incredible panel. Wow, such great insights. And I know some of you may be thinking, how does this apply to me? If you're looking to scale and grow your business, these are things that you want to keep in mind as you are creating that solid plan, as some of the panelists talked about in the first panel. Now, thank you for your patience. I know some of you are eager, as I am, to be able to hear from our keynote speaker today. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to our keynote speaker, Mackenzie Bauer, co-founder of Threads Wallet. In 2015, her husband and herself founded Threads Wallet, a business that sells carry accessories online and in retail locations throughout the U.S. Based in Provo, Utah, their goal is to empower individuals to carry on through both the product they sell and the lifestyle they promote. Since the early days, she gravitated towards marketing aspects of their business and ran it as the CMO until the spring of 2021, when she stepped back to pursue personal projects and to focus on their family. In this year's as the CMO, Threads was ranked one of the fastest growing companies in Utah and appeared twice on the INC 500. She is fearless and she's an advocate for women equality and bettering the lives of minority individuals around the state of Utah. Thank you for joining us today, Mackenzie.
I am so excited to be here, and I really truly wish that we were here in person because I love the energy that comes from being with you all in person, but this is going to have to do. Okay, so one of my favorite things to do, because I can't see all of your faces, so I'm going to ask you all to just like hit the raise your hand button. How many of you guys like have started a business or are starting a business or want to start a business? Hit that raise your hand button. I want to like hear all of it. Ding, 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 ding. Yes. Yeah, we got some over in the comments. Can we get more? Is there only one? Anna Steinauer. Is that how you say it? Okay, we got another one. Yes, we've got some more. Okay, yes, yes. I love it. Okay, yes. Yes, I love seeing this. This is okay. This is why we're here. Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, so excited. Oh, yes. Look how fun. This is so cool. I wish that we could go through, like, if we were in person, I would start asking you guys all to like talk about your business. I know I only have like 15, 20 minutes, but I would ask a few of you to like talk about what you're growing, share a little about the business that you're starting, because I feel like I'm able to connect better with you as a speaker and tell a more authentic story if I'm able to speak to what you guys are working on and growing, and the pain points that you guys are experiencing right now. So I'm going to try to speak to all of those without that like personal touch that we don't get when we're speaking virtually. So anyway, I am going to, oh man, it's been a while. I got so good at this during let's see, how do I present? I got so good at this during COVID, and I don't speak virtually as often anymore. So let me pull up my screen if I can't. Oh, look at this. Founder of Rapid Results Laboratories. Oh, this is so cool. Okay, I wish I could just go and read through all of these.
Don't think.
Okay, so how do I present? Slideshow share.
Mackenzie, there should be a share button at the bottom of the screen.
I'm not, maybe an idiot. Oh, yep, it's right smack dab in the middle. Okay, hold on. Except it's like when I hit the Chrome, it says it can't share it. Why not? Hold on, it's like not letting me share it. Sorry guys, this is not letting me share my screen. It like says that there's like an error. I hit share, it says desktop, and then it comes up with an error view. My computer's really old. Oh my gosh, look at this. I'm still getting more. My ADHD is kicking in. I'm so sorry. I don't know what.
If you want to email it to me, I can share it on my screen for you.
Yes, that would be amazing. Okay, I'm gonna send this to you right now.
Thank you all for your patience. Please hang in there.
Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties.
Hey, we're seeing a lot of great people who are ready to share their businesses. Were you guys
No.
waiting to ask? They have like full paragraphs. I
I
love it.
I know. I wish I seriously wish we were in person and could hear everyone talk so passionately about what they're starting and give us a little intro. Okay. Sorry, I'm pulling up your email to copy and paste into this.
So while we're waiting, Mackenzie, I know you guys just opened a physical space, your
Yes, we
headquarters,
did.
and I
Yes,
missed the opportunity to go get a free bag. I was like, dang.
I know. I wish everyone could come. If you're ever in Utah, come. We're on Center Street in Provo, Utah. It'd be amazing for anyone to come. Okay, now this is like, come on. Okay, sending this to you right now. Sharing the.
Got it.
Let me see. Let me know if you get it.
Okay. While we're waiting for that to come in, kind of take us back to your like founding story. Tell us a
Okay,
little bit.
yeah, that's what this presentation is. I've got all the pictures, all the stuff in it, and that's okay. So we'll start diving in. So my name is Mackenzie Bauer, and my husband and I started our company 10 years ago in January. So I can't believe it's been that long, but 10 years ago, my husband and I met it was technically like January, February of 2014. And my husband had originally had the idea for this minimalist wallet. And he got the idea because if you're familiar with Utah, I know there's a lot of people here who aren't from Utah, but he was fortunate enough to play soccer at a local university here in Utah called BYU, and also at a university in Hawaii called BYU Hawaii. So you can go to the next slides. I'll direct you. Okay, skip the next slide. I'll skip this kind of first story. Okay, so this is where we're going to start. So he was playing soccer at this university in Hawaii, this small university, and he was so eager to get into the ocean because who isn't eager to jump into the ocean when you move to Hawaii? Next slide. And when he did, he jumped into the ocean and he lost his wallet. And this is not the first time he's lost his wallet. This has happened many times. And so he went to replace his wallet like he'd done many times. Next slide. And how many of you, I hope some of you have seen Seinfeld. I'm getting to the point in my life where if I mention Seinfeld, it goes over some people's heads, which is devastating. But he searched on Google men's wallets, and all he could find was just like boring, bulky, George Costanza type wallets. And he was like, this isn't for me. Like, I am a student. All I need is my driver's license, my student ID, and my credit card. So next slide. He walked into the grocery store and found a rubber band on a clump of broccoli or a clump of asparagus that you see in the broccoli, the vegetable section. And he started using that as his wallet. He wrapped it around his cards and fell in love with the functionality. You can go to the next slide. And simultaneously, he was in this class at university where they were discussing Kickstarter, and they were spending tons of time on Kickstarter. And he was noticing that there were all of these projects on Kickstarter that were funded very successfully for minimalist wallets. So the wheels kind of started turning where he was like, wow, like a lot of other people are searching for minimalist wallets. But again, very similarly to the George Costanza wallets, they were very plain, black leather, brown leather, white elastic, very simple. And he had loved and admired brands like Neff Headwear, Skull Candy headphones, Stance socks, brands that had brought expression and personality and life to really sleepy and dull categories. So he was like, I think there's a way to marry this minimalist wallet idea with expression and personality. So next slide. He found a local company here in Utah called Beloved, and they made these really crazy, expressive funky shirts and swimsuits using a process called sublimation. And the idea was, okay, if I can utilize this same process called sublimation on just white elastic that I've picked up from the fabric store, then I might be able to create basically a glorified rubber band, but be able to bring expression and personality to this like really sleepy category of wallets. So he did. He took this white elastic to the beloved warehouse and was like, could I test this? Could I just print a random design on this elastic to see if it works? And the person there was like, absolutely, let's try it. So he did. They used the heat press because the sublimation process, you have to have paper printed and it's got the funky design on it. And then you heat press the paper onto the synthetic material. And it worked. And this is right around the same time we started dating. And Colby came home to pick me up for a date. And he brought home a piece of white elastic covered in the poop emoji. And he brought it home to me and was like, look at this. Like, I've unlocked the key to our future, basically. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, who is this guy that I just started dating? Like, what did I get myself into? But he was good looking enough that I gave him a second and third chance. So you can go to the next slide. So this is where my sewing machine and my skill set kind of came into play. I had the sewing machine, I knew how to sew, so I kind of taught him how to sew up these prototypes and help him build out these first wallet prototypes, as simple as they were. This is us in my childhood bedroom sewing some other projects that we had ideas for, laptop cases and stuff. And then this is one of our very first prototypes. You can see the keyring on it that I had the idea for, because I was like, this is genius. I will use this. I will love it. I still use that same product today. I could grab mine out of my bag and show you. This is what I use and love today still. But I had the idea for this simple little keyring. I was like, you have to have this on there because I want to be able to carry my chapstick, which is a product that we came out with later, the lanyard, which we came out with later. I want to be able to carry it all in one place. I don't like carrying around bags really. So we did. We added that keyring and we were like, let's do this. Let's create this simple little product. You can go to the next slide. And we did. For my husband's class, he had to put together a Kickstarter campaign, which he did. And this is the first one that he put together with some friends from that class. And it didn't do anything crazy, but it was enough to validate the idea, get us some of the equipment that we needed to continue to design these wallets and put them into a small run of production. So with that money that we got from the Kickstarter campaign, you can go to the next slide. We designed and put into production an order for about 1,000 wallets. And this was right when we got married. So this is us on our wedding day. And then the next day we moved back out to Hawaii for Colby to finish up school out at that small university in Hawaii. So while we were out in Hawaii, you can go to the next slide. We started selling these wallets that we made, that batch of 1,000 wallets. We started selling these at farmers markets, at little pop-up shops, at a few retail locations. You can go to the next slide. We built this little display out of some wood from a dumpster that they had used for construction. And we got them into a few like local boutiques in Utah and then some in Hawaii as well to like test the idea. And this is when we were kind of really at a crossroads. You can go to the next slide. Where we were like, what are we going to do? Like, we have this idea. It's kind of got some traction, not much, but there is a little. My husband was playing professional soccer, so he had that idea or that career path as something that we could pursue. His father had built up a successful financial planning firm, so he could pursue that. I was teaching as an adjunct professor and nannying. So we kind of had a few different options, but in the end we were like, you know what, if we're ever going to do something, if we're ever going to dive in to a business, it's going to be now. We don't have a mortgage, we don't have a house or a car payment, we don't have kids. Like, let's just go all in on this little wallet idea. It's kind of silly, it's kind of simple, but let's do it. So we did. You can go to the next slide. So we put together another Kickstarter for a different kind of version of the wallet. We added a second pocket, and we didn't do anything crazy again with this Kickstarter, where some minimalist wallets were doing $300,000 on Kickstarter. We did 35,000, but it was enough to validate the idea further. We had originally said that we wanted to do like 60,000 that first year of business. This was in 2015. We were like, if we could sell 5 to 10 wallets a day, we could probably do like $50,000 to $60,000 a year, or this first year of business. And by the time we did our Kickstarter and we launched our website, we finished that year at around $130,000 in sales. So it was enough for us to be like, wow, like I think this is actually something we can really pursue. So we kept doing it. You can go to the next slide. So this is us fulfilling the orders on Kickstarter. This is us selling at farmers markets. This is our first Black Friday with those 4 reusable grocery totes. So just really wild to see kind of this validation process of, I saw someone in the comments say an MVP, just, yeah, this minimal viable product that we were really just trying to get a ton of validation and traction around, which was so fun and really exhausting at the same time. You can go to the next slide. Continuing to just grow the business. This is where we got it out of my parents' house where we were running it for the first 6 months. We moved into a small 2-bedroom house ourselves. This is us with that sublimation printer. You can see the paper coming out of it. You can see where we were doing our own fulfillment with the help of my sister-in-laws. Colby was doing the production down in our dirty dirt floor basement, more of a crawl space. I wouldn't even call that a basement. You can go to the next slide. But as you can see, and as many of you entrepreneurs know who are starting businesses, growing businesses, this is not scalable. So I know that one of the focus points of this conversation was like lessons learned from those early years. And one of the first things that I wanted to hit on is that you should take off hats as soon as you can. And that's hard to know when, and that could be a whole different conversation. But one of the best pieces of advice that we have given to people, and something that my husband and I say all the time, is do what you do best and then hire out the rest. We held on to production for almost 2 years, and I would say that was 2 years too long. We were so focused on this. We felt like we had to control the quality. We didn't believe that anyone else could do it the way that we could. And this was could be said about a number of things: customer service, production, fulfillment, social media marketing. And when we were doing all of that, we couldn't really dive deep into the things that we felt like we actually could be doing really well, which was product development, design, marketing strategy that could really scale and grow the business. And once we decided to let go of those things and take those hats off, and we were able to afford investing in people and a team and software that could help outsource those things, that's when we really started to see a lot of growth. You can go to the next slide. So this is kind of when we started doing those things. We outsourced our production to China. This is when we started to get help with some of our fulfillment. Eventually, at the very end of 2016, beginning of 2017, because you can see here, I am pregnant with our first child. We outsourced fulfillment. This is me laying on our second Black Friday orders. So you can see a lot of growth in those first few years. You can go to the next slide. Outsourcing things, go to the next slide. Product expansion, you can go to the next slide. More product expansion, go to the next slide. This is kind of, I'm going to go really fast because I know I am very much at time. More wallets, go to the next slide.
You have 8.
Yes.
I was saying you have 8 minutes.
Oh, 8 minutes. Okay, perfect. Okay, so with product expansion, we got hired some more people on our team, which was really helpful. So kind of that do what you do best and hire out the rest was also in terms of outsourcing, like in terms of hiring production and fulfillment, 3PLs, things like that. But then also bringing on team members, people who really specialize in things, whether that was a CFO or a social media manager, influencer marketing manager, people that really were focused on parts of the business that my husband and I didn't really want to be our focuses. Okay, next slide. more wallets. We've introduced lanyards, vertical wallets, bifolds. As was mentioned, we've been featured on the Inc. 500 a couple times. We've been listed as one of Utah's fastest growing companies a handful of times. These slides are in chronological order, which is why they kind of bounce back and forth between product and awards or team expansion, things like that. So you can keep going. We've moved into three different offices since the beginning. So we started out in multiple offices. We started out in my parents' house, and then we moved into our tiny 2-bedroom apartment. And then we moved into a little strip mall. And then this was our second office that we moved into, and we were here for 5 years, which was really fun. But we outgrew this one as well, and we moved into our new office that we purchased. It was a building that was originally built in the 1920s. And so it took a lot of remodeling and had to put a lot of time and energy into it. But we just moved into this new space in September of last year. It's beautiful. I'll have you skip through the next few slides to get to that. Crossbody bags, these are new products, awards. We can get through all of this because I want to get to just my life lessons. Retail locations, we're just going to skip. We've done a lot of collabs. Sorry, if I were at the helm, I'd just go skip.
It's okay.
Fun collaborations that we've done with North Face, Free People Movement. You can skip this video.
This is the story of Thread and the one wallet.
Watch it, but I'm not going to watch it right now because I don't want to take up our time. This has been a really fun part of I'll tell this really quick. This has been a fun part of our story. Part of our mission at Thread is that we provide carry accessories for people. So whether that's our AirPod cases, our lanyards, wallets, bags, we've branched into a lot of different bags. So we've wanted to inspire people to, carry their products in a really cool way, but we also want to inspire people to carry on in a cool way, whether that's how you express yourself through your style or your passions, whatever that is. So my husband's, I guess I'll get to this story too. So I won't get ahead of myself is what I should say. In 2020, some of our ambassadors throughout the world, everyone was going through something really crazy, but some of our ambassadors on our team were also going through something really crazy. One of our ambassadors had part of her face bitten off by a dog. So there was just a lot going on that made us feel like we should be telling some cooler stories and doing more to give back. So we really started leaning into this anthem of like carrying on and doing good and doing better. So you can go to the next slide. My husband's mom is an alcoholic and has now been sober for 4 years, but because of this narrative in my husband's life and what we were seeing in the world, and then with a lot of our ambassadors, you can go to the next slide. My husband loves being outdoors. He loves being with our family. He loves skateboarding. He always has loved surfing, skateboarding, snowboarding, wakeboarding, so many different things. You can go to the next slide. So he decided to start a nonprofit called Carry On, which is kind of a sister organization to our business, where we've partnered with sports psychologists to develop a curriculum to teach kids mental health and resilience skills through action sports. So how to pick yourself up when you fall down, how to overcome your fears, how to take deep breaths and use positive self-talk, all of these really great skills that translate to real life experience, but you're learning it through action sports. So you can go to the next slide. This has been really cool because this is the building that we purchased that I was mentioning that's now our headquarters for Thread as well, but the whole back half of it is houses our nonprofit as well. So you can go to the next slide. So this is us renovating the building. Go to the next slide. And this is kind of it finished. So we have our front retail space. Our office is kind of in the middle, and then the back half of it is this beautiful skate park where any given day you just see a bunch of kids running around there skating and playing and using their power words and their power stances. And it's just this really beautiful kind of full circle moment. And now this is my husband's mom, who's doing great today and is just amazing. And we're really proud of her. Anyway, you can go to the next slide. We're done. You can cancel out of the presentation. I just have a few minutes to wrap up. Anyway, I breezed through that story. there's a few things that I wanted to hit on. So one was that do what you do best and hire out the rest. The other ones that I wanted, that's kind of, I feel like, a little bit more tactical, in a way. But a few of the other things that I wanted to focus on are pieces of advice that I would love to tell anybody and everybody who's either starting a business, growing a business, getting in it, or wanting to get into it, is don't compare your beginning to somebody else's middle or end. And I think that is really, really hard when you are starting a business or in the middle of it or in the thick of it, whatever it is, to not compare what you're doing or building or where you are to where somebody else is. You see everybody else's success, you hear about other people's numbers, you even maybe see my story and you're like, oh, I want to get there. How do I get there? That's great to feel inspired by it, but don't let that stop you from focusing on what you're doing today and focusing on your business. Don't compare what somebody else has done to what you're doing, because no one's ever done what you're doing. Yes, I love what someone's saying. Don't scroll too much on social media. If I could figure out how to present, I would show you there's this beautiful picture, and I'm going to end with this. I'm going to tell you all to go look it up. There is this picture of Michael Phelps swimming in the Olympics, and he's competing against, I believe it's an Italian swimmer. And the Italian swimmer is looking over at Michael Phelps. And we know that Michael Phelps is like one of the most decorated Olympians in all of history. And the Italian swimmer is looking at Michael Phelps. And Michael Phelps is looking directly forward, could not even be bothered by the person next to him, and is just laser focused. And if you read about Michael Phelps, like his regimen, how dedicated he was so laser focused on what he was doing and what value he could bring and what value he could gain. And that is what I would leave with you guys, is just focus on what you're doing. Stay focused, stay determined, take it day by day. And this is kind of like the last anecdote that goes alongside that. And it kind of sounds silly, but I think a lot of times you think, I have to hit a home run. Everything has to be a home run. But you don't always have to swing for the fences. A lot of times you can just get on base. It's most of the time those small little moves that get you around to home and get a point on the board. So take it slow, keep it simple, and that's what's going to help you win in the long run. Go follow me on LinkedIn, follow me on social media. I see that there are some questions on here, like what's my background? I studied peace building, so something very different than business. So I would love to connect further and answer any questions that you have. So please don't hesitate to reach out and we can connect further. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Mackenzie, for joining us today and sharing your incredible journey with these entrepreneurs. Congratulations to the success, both personally and entrepreneurially, with your family. Amazing presentation. Now, I know that we are a little over time, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce or invite Cami to come back on so we can wrap up.
Thank you. Wow, what a day. Before we wrap up today's event, let's take a moment to reflect together. First, I want you to think about one specific action that you are committed to taking based on what you have learned or heard today. And go ahead and place that in the chat now. What is one specific action that you are committed to taking based on all that you have learned today? Place that inside of the chat. We see forward focused, seeking a mentor, or focusing. Awesome. Awesome. Keep those coming. Now, think of one give you can offer to this community. Maybe it is mentorship, sharing your expertise, a resource, or maybe an introduction you can make. What is one give that you can offer to others? Go ahead and place that in the chat. And also, where others can access that give. All right, so we have sharing my expertise in mentorship. Yes, financial literacy. Please feel free to put inside of the chat how others can reach you. Mentor makers, yes. Mentorship. Fantastic. All right, keep those coming. Well, thank you all for your thoughtful commitments and generous contributions to our community. Remember, it's through sharing our insights and supporting one another that we truly drive collective growth and success. And at this time, it is my pleasure now to pass it back to Michelda to close us out. Thank you.
I would like to thank all of the panelists and our keynote speaker for taking the time to speak to this community today, sharing your insights and setting such a great example of paying it forward and reaching back into the community to support. It was a great overview. On behalf of the Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center and everyone in attendance today, we sincerely thank you for joining us. And here are some ways you can get involved with the center should you choose. You can register for the Milestone Circles program, which is a peer-based mentorship program designed to help entrepreneurs set and achieve and celebrate the critical business milestones. We have tons of accessible toolkits and resources on our website that could be helpful. Brooke provided information about how to become a mentor, how to become a mentee. And if there are any business development centers or resources that provide technical assistance that want to partner with us as a center, feel free to reach out to me directly and we can have those conversations. We also have a lot of other upcoming events. Anna has dropped a link in the chat for you to know what's coming up next here at the center. And I hope you all have a great day. Thank you for joining us today.